We'll be reading Joshua chapter 1, verse 7 and verse 9. Joshua chapter 1, verse 7 and verse 9. Today I will be encouraging someone. I'm not sure who this word will be for, but it will be for someone. Joshua chapter 1, verse 7 and verse 9. And I want you to read timely. And let's see if we could gain some understanding here. Let's read together. 1, 2, read. Only be strong and very courageous. Let's stop right there. Only be strong. Everyone said only be strong. There is a statement from Jesus that he said to a person that was beckoned unto him for help. Sadly, before Jesus Christ could attend to the need, the Bible said the person died. So they inquired that the Lord will come to a particular environment, a house, to pray for a young lady. And by the time Jesus get there, they send news to him and said, trouble not the master. This is what they're saying to Jesus. Don't trouble him, because the damsel is dead. And Jesus made a statement that I would like to say to you today in collaboration with what you just read. He said to these people, only believe. Only believe. And here he is speaking to Joshua. And he's saying to Joshua, only be strong. See, what Jesus is trying to establish here is that you should not try to do anything else other than what I'm telling you. Number one, only believe. Number two, only be strong, which means you're not permitted to disbelieve and you're not permitted to be weak. See, in my view, these are not just statements in the Bible, these are commands. I look at these as the commands of the don't do's. Don't lie. Don't steal. Don't fornicate. You don't need a lot of explanation why you shouldn't and why. No, he said just don't do that. Now, whether you understand the reason why you should or shouldn't, the command is given by our Creator that you should not. Now, you may go and you try to figure out why he said you should not, and people will come with various thoughts and various ideologies or various, thinking as to why Jesus said you should not do certain things. But regardless, his words still stand. He said, don't do it. Now, most believers only focus on the don't do's. And over the years, they have contended for, make sure you don't do this. And they stand on those commands. But then I read other places where Jesus also gave other commands that they violate. The same Christians that says, don't lie, don't fornicate, don't bear false witness, don't steal. It's an abomination unto the Lord. These are the same people that don't believe God. These are the same people that do not have courage. The same people that do not have strength, as though God can be divided. If God said don't do something, or if he said do something, it's the same. His words are there as a command. There are some commands you should not, and there are some commands you should, he said. You should do this or you shouldn't do this. Now listen carefully. If you don't start viewing these doing commands as much as how you view the don't do commands, you will always be defeated. Because your strength, or let me not say strength, but your victory is not predicated upon the don't do's alone, but your victory is mainly based on your do's. Our life development and betterment will be mainly based on the things we do that he said, and not so much the don't do's alone. Now, of course, you know we should not do things that he said we shouldn't do, but are we focusing on the things he said we should do? Now, look at this statement here. Speaking to Joshua after he breaks down him being with Joshua after the death of Moses, he said, brother Joshua, before you be able to be successful, I'm not going to tell you that you should not lie with a woman, you should not steal, you should not bear false witness. Those commands, you know them. All the commands that's in the word of God that Moses, my servant, gave to you, you embraced them from a child growing up. But now you have to execute my purpose. There are things that I want you to do now in helping people. And for you to be successful in this venture, you got to learn to be strong. Only be strong and very courageous. Everyone say very courageous. I apologize if I am making you sleep. But my brothers and sisters, I'm not sure how worn out you are with religiosity. As for me, that thing is dead inside of me. I'm tired of religious motions and no results. Our life do not reflect anything that looks like God, and we keep crying and asking why or how is it like this. We lack the doing powers. He is trying to help Joshua here to be very successful, and he says you've got to learn only to be strong. Why? There will be so many things that will come after you to stop my prophetic utterance in your life, to stop you from being successful. My brothers and sisters, you will not get there by just kneeling on your knees. You will not get there by just saying, Jesus, I love you, and be faithful going to church. But you will get there if you can only be strong. Because I'm telling you, there will be days when you're praying and you feel weak, and you've got to tell yourself, be strong. And very courageous. Now, why did he use this descriptive word, very? Why don't just say be courageous? Rather, very courageous. Why? The amount of battles, brother Joshua, you're going to have to fight to gain success. You better have courage. And this is God speaking to this man as though he's not going to be with him. He's letting this man know that there will be days you're going to have to learn to stand even when you don't feel my presence. I'm giving you my word right now, Joshua. Until eternity ends, you've got to live by this word, even when you don't feel me. If I never show up around you as your God, remember what I told you. When the wind begins to blow, don't move. Only be strong and very courageous. Don't do anything else. Just be strong. You know, there are battles that you win by just standing strong. I expressed this to someone lately. Recently, I said there are certain battles you win with peace. It's not all battles you fight with strength. If your strength is within your peace, you can win with that. You can win battles with peace. But in order for that peace to really cause you to have victory, you've got to be courageous. You've got to be strong. Because there are going to be days when something will tell you, don't use peace, use wrath, use anger. If you want to turn away wrath, the Bible says, It said it's soft answer, soft response. That's winning with peace. That's having victory in peace. If we are as wise as Solomon, we can reign as king without fighting a battle. However, but when it comes on to some other individuals, the Lord is expecting them to fight. And for you to fight, you need courage. He said that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Then he said, turn not from it to the right hand or the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. You've got to be very strong and very courageous to observe what God has commanded, that you may prosper wherever you go. Then verse 9, see, now I'm going to show you that it is a command. Verse 9, it says, have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of good courage. Then he said, don't be afraid. Then he said, neither be thou dismayed. Why? For the Lord thy God is with thee wherever you go. Now, he had to remember this. He has to remember this, that the Lord is with me. And with that remembrance, he should be strengthened. He should remain strong, living knowing that God is with him. My brothers and sisters, the more you live with the consciousness of God's presence, is the more you feel invincible. It's the more you will feel unbeatable. When you are conscious that God is with me. I should. You know, as I was praying, the Lord reminds me that even if you don't feel anything, just know wherever you go, I'm with you. I want to speak to you for the next 20 minutes or so on the subject, be very courageous. I know some of you just said, Pastor, that's not going to happen, but let's see. In 20 minutes. You know, brothers and sisters, one of the phrases that we should never hear ourselves using is a phrase that says, I cannot be bothered. Oh, is there anyone here that have ever used that phrase? You won't admit it because I just said it, but it's all right. There are days when I used to say those things, Brother Dwayne. I said, you know, I can't be bothered with this. Because there are days when you will get weary. And the only option the enemy will always give you is the option of not being bothered. Just give it up. That's too much for you right now. But brothers and sisters, that phrase authorizes our enemies to possess our lives and our resources. I want you to pay attention to me. If you live in a house that you don't care for, the thieves will take it away from you. If you have items that you don't care for, you will have forces that will come in and take it away, not because it's theirs, but because you don't care. And they know you're not going to even fight back. This is something that I know that motivates the devil. When he sent an agent to destroy your life, the agent went and attacked your life, and the devil realized you didn't do anything about it. It will encourage him to send others in for more of your stuff. You know, I learned of this story of two men that went in to break into a shop. And the guy was up each night making sure no one breaks in, and so One gentleman went in the first night and he sneaked in. And when he was about to take away the item from the shelf, it fell. The item fell. And the man said, "Who's that?" And the guy said, "Meow." And then he said, "Oh, it's the cat." The next night, his friend is to now go in and get stuff. And when his friend was trying to take down the item, another item, it fell again. And the guy said, "Who is that?" And the man said, "It's me, the cat from last night." Oh, boy. And you say that is so dumb. But how many of us, we be the same way with the devil? We fight him foolishly. We address him foolishly. Now, do you think that that man is going to say, "Oh, it's the puss, it's the cat"? No, not this time. No, the one before, when he said meow, he was, "Oh, it's the cat." Okay, he got deceived. But the next time, the man said, "It's me, the cat from last night." He said, "No, which cat talk?" Now, the response of that man is not going to be different. He's now going to attack this man, right, to get him out of the store. I want to say something to you, brothers and sisters. If that man sat there and did nothing even after such foolish behavior from that other gentleman, and did nothing to stop these thieves, I promise you, they will return. As foolish as the man may sound, because this guard did not do anything about that foolish man, it gives the foolish man strength to return. Let me tell you this. There are many individuals' lives the devil returned to because we did nothing about his first invasion. Some of us even see how foolish it is. We even say, "Look what the devil did." And you know it's the devil that did that. And next week you allow him to do it again. My friends, please hear me carefully. It is high time that the people of God learn to be courageous and dare any and every intruding force of the enemy. You know, I don't want to sound too aggressive, lest you think I am speaking out of anger. I want you to know that you have to have a made-up mind that I don't care what happens to me, I will not lose. I will not be defeated. Any thief that breaks into your life the first time, learn from it. Let me tell you, if you sit down and do nothing about it, the devil will always take advantage of it. And this is where many of us keep failing. We cry over every situation instead of responding. If this guard sits down here, this man said, "It's me, the cat from last night," and then, sit there and start crying, "Oh, someone is breaking into my place. Oh, when will this stop? When will this stop? They came last night. No, they're coming back tonight." If there's anything else I want to tell you today, I'm not going to be long with you. I have a whole lot of list of notes here, but listen to me, brothers and sisters. Even in your tears, use your sword. I ain't got much hand clap. It's all right. Maybe it's because I'm not preaching with the preaching tone. It's all right. I said, even when you are hurting, use your sword. Even when you are bleeding, this is the only way for victory. The Lord didn't say when you are attacked and when you come under pressure and persecution, just cry unto me. No, he said only be strong and very courageous. You will have to exert strength and courage in order for you to obtain the victory that God promised you. If you got a court case and you do nothing about the case, you will lose it by default. If a man don't plant anything in his field, we talk about this very often, he will reap, but what he'll reap would be weeds. Why? He didn't do anything about it. He said, I cannot be bothered. To plant stuff, it's too much work. I can't be bothered. And go hands up. And a few days after, he is crying, why is it my field is filled with so much problems? Why is it my life is packed with so much chaos? My brothers and sisters, you need to ask yourself the question, what did you plant? If there's nothing else I know personally, and this is not to talk about personal life here, but if there's nothing else that I know, is this one thing: I will never reap what I don't sow. And if I see evil manifesting in my life, I know without a doubt that is for my good. Why is this so? Because you know what you have sown. And the Bible said, you will reap what you sow. So how can you reap evil when you know all your life you're doing the good? So when you look through your life and you see that I only sow good things, so where's this evil coming from? You should now know that that evil is for your good, because the Bible said, and we know that all things work together for good. There are many glorious packages that's within problems. But if, brothers and sisters, you don't have that understanding, you will start implicating yourself when the enemy comes in with something against you. You will start saying, what wrong have I have done? The moment you start declaring these things over your life, my friends, you will multiply the troubles and the problems. You have to know within yourself, I have not done evil, so I can never reap evil. So what's happening right here can only be for my good. Now, friends, if you don't do anything about what comes after you, the truth is, as innocent as you are, you will die. You know, when you look into the jungle, you will see all type of animals with various personalities. But the truth is this, my brothers and sisters, it's the fittest of the fittest that will survive. Regardless of your personality, you better learn how to escape the lion. You better learn how to escape whichever animal that wants to take you as some prey, like whichever predator wants to get you. You better learn that if you're a deer, you better learn to run and skip good. You've got to train yourself how to escape everything. And when this world is not a fun fair, it's a warfare. You know, my little years on earth has taught me this, that this life is a life of warfare. You better know how to escape the sword of everything. You better know how to leap, jump, run. You've got to learn how to do all of that thing. In order for you to get to your glorious destination, you better be savvy, you better be swift, you better be flexible, or else the enemy will eat you for lunch. We've got to be courageous. Doing nothing, brothers and sisters, is not an option. We should always be willing to do something about what you're going through. I don't care what it is. You just, whatever you know you're going through, that is very difficult. I want you to tell yourself, doing nothing about this is not an option. There's one thing that motivates me a lot, and is the ability to see where I'm going. The day I can't see where I'm going is the day I get nervous. But as long as I can see, I'll never stop. Listen to this carefully. God only takes us serious when we are serious. If we're not serious, he's not serious with you. I've come to learn that God will be whatever you want him to be. If you want him to be serious, then be serious. He can lighten up himself as much as how you lighten up yourself. Listen to this. Not until we possess the courage to take bold steps of faith before we can ever impress God. God will never be impressed with mediocres. Listen to me carefully. In Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 6, this is what it says. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. Bold steps of faith is what move God. It moves him to respond to you. And passivity has no place in faith. And there are many individuals that are very passive in their life. And I'm telling you, passivity will only make you be a prey to the devil. Everyone said, I must fight till I win. In life, we cannot go hands up and hands off. The Bible said, how long will a simple one really love simplicity? And you scorners delight in scornings, and fools hate knowledge. Let me tell you right now, if you feel like you want to sleep, let me give you an advice. Go get some toothpick. I was going to say toothpick, but that's going to be rough for you. And just put it under your eyes to hold it up. Because I am telling you, your victory lies in knowledge. The more you know, oh boy. You know, if I should fight my battles in ignorance, I would not have been standing in front of you. At times I heard people would say, Demetri, why are you not doing something about this? Why are you you're too nice. You've got to learn to fight with wisdom. You've got to learn to live your life with wisdom. Do you know how many attacks that will come after your life, especially when you're desiring to have great success, when you're desiring to reach great? Do you know how much attacks? This morning I was bruising it through my mind from a child growing up, the amount of disappointments and attacks that I went through. And I said, then how is it I am still here? Have you ever sat down and you roll back the curtains of memory in your life and said, my God, God is, something is happening with me here. How is it I survive all of that? Now, there's some people now, Brother Foster, that only survive problems, but they don't excel in life. Because it is one thing to be fighting, it's another thing to be winning. And so there are days when you are fighting, and you're so focused on fighting that you stop building. But if you're like Nehemiah, that walks with the Spirit of God, he don't just fight and let the devil distract him with fighting. He fights with one hand and build with the other. So you should be able to look back over your life and say, my God, regardless of all the battles that I've fought, look what the Lord has done with my life. You can't just have your life being remembered by just battles where you fight, you just keep fighting, but there's nothing glorious to you. No elevation, no progress in your life. No, you've got to learn to defeat your enemies and build at the same time. So while you are winning your battles, your life is progressing, because the devil can distract you with battles. The devil can put so many problems back to back in your life that you get distracted from your future. And you can only be consumed by your current problems and battles. But when your eyes are ahead of you and your hands are beside you, you fight the present challenges and you keep pressing into your future. Now, for you to do that, you've got to be very courageous. It don't happen by luck and chance. How is it you survive all of this, but yet still you're not a pauper on the street? Yet still you're not begging people to pray for you. Yet still you're not coming to church and wondering if God is going to touch you. You fight so many battles and you live with so much confidence. You live with so much joy. You live with so much contentment, so much peace. How is this happening? Because when the Spirit of God come upon you, you will be very unusual. When the Spirit of God begins to work on your life and he builds courage within you, you don't just fight, but you fight and build. You fight and progress. You fight and you keep on pressing ahead and becoming. And while the devil is fighting you, you are winning. You are progressing. Listen to me. There are days, let the devil be distracted by fighting you. There are many times that you'll be situations, people, spirits are fighting you, and they are getting distracted while you are moving forward. You know, I wish I could pop my inside and reveal the type of spirit I live by. When you tell yourself, Jesus said I should only be courageous, my friends, it doesn't matter what the enemy tries. You're so convinced by God that the enemy, you know that if the enemy attacks you, he's wasting his time. Have you ever read in scripture where the Bible said that touch not the Lord's anointed and do his prophet no harm, right? It is not only referring to pastors and preachers and people that hold microphone. You're a child of God. Yours is anointed. Now, this is something that I've learned, that God did not make that statement to really protect you, but it is to protect your enemies. Let me say to you, understand. Touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. This is not because the Lord thinks that you can harm his prophet. It's to protect you from what will happen if you touch his prophet. If you put your hand on my children, this is not to protect them from you. It is to protect you from them. Oh, you're not hearing me, church. You see, when you are that spiritual and anointed, my brothers and sisters, any man that touch you, it should be to their own demise. Touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. If you try to harm him, you will harm yourself. Brothers and sisters, let the enemy be afraid of you. Let him be afraid. Let troubles look at you and say, let's try somebody else. Why? Because everything I try with this one, I am always defeated. I am always tossed down. Let him know that if he come after you, he's going to lose before he try. I tell myself, I looked at that devil when I'll be praying, and I'll tell him straight up in his face, try as much as you want, because you lose before you. Listen, there is no power in the devil. Listen, the Lord has already neutralized Satan. When he died, when he rose from the grave, he took the power from death, hell, and the grave. Satan has no power over a redeemed child of God. So don't give the devil power when you are under attack. Let the devil know, I am sorry for you because you touched the anointed one. Something is going to happen to you. Don't be crying, being passive. Be courageous, knowing that I don't want to be preaching. I don't want to be preaching. I want to talk to the church, because when you leave out of here, you're going to come under attacks. But you need to let the devil know, if you win yesterday, you won that battle yesterday, you're going to win this one today. And devil, don't look at me to be crying, because I don't cry when I fight. I set my face as a flint. I cry unto the Lord. I don't cry unto devils. I don't cry unto spirits that are evil. I cry unto the Lord. But when it's time to face the challenges, I looked at it dead in the face. Listen, I even tell myself, Demetri, I dare you, go around and be pitied. Don't walk around feeling ashamed. Ashamed of what? Ashamed of what? If you walk around with your head hung down low because of what the devil did, you're embarrassing the Lord. You're giving the devil the upper edge over you. Look what I have done to the Lord's anointed. I cause them to be depressed. I cause them to be frustrated. I cause them to be discouraged. Look what I have done. Oh, my friends, you've got to turn your hand around. Instead of you just holding it like this, put your fist and begin to resist that devil. And the Bible said he will flee from you. I even refuse to be pitied. Don't pour me. No. I don't care what you go through. Don't let people come and pour you. You know, I'm praying for you, y'all. Look what you're going through. My God, this is bad. Listen to me. The Bible said they look unto him, and they were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. If you know where you are going, it doesn't matter what you're currently going through. If you can look unto him, your future is greater than your disaster. Your future is glorious than your present condition. And so you should always be motivated by what you are seeing and not by where you are. They look unto him and they were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. So you'll find many people that will, out of good care, and please don't bash them, because the truth is, there are many, when you go through things, there are many people that do care about you. And they'll reach out with a heart of love. But sometimes, I'm telling you, those heart of love can weaken your faith. I know what I'm telling you. Out of their sympathy for you, you will even break down and start crying. You know, it's true you're saying, you know, my brother, you know, it's just rough, man. I'm telling you, it's just rough. It's rough, I'm telling you, man, it's a tough thing. Now, brothers and sisters, I said this to you before, and I keep saying it to you. Every time you come under attack, Sister Chantel, the devil observe your reaction. It's not a guesswork. He has to do that. It's the way how you know your enemies. Let me put some pressure on this one's life, because right now he thinks where he's going, he's really going to get there. And as he attacks, you watch where you're crying, where you get weakened, what caused you to want to give up. What did I do that caused this guy, this girl, to want to throw in the towel? And once he realized that you are motivated to throw the towel in by a certain attack, he will pressure that point. Listen to me. What you resist will persist. There are days you just got to let the devil know, I am all right. It doesn't matter what you're doing. There are days that I literally don't even resist him. I'm like, you can't do me nothing. You can't do me nothing. You know, this is when you get this assurance with God being with you. And you know that it doesn't matter what he does, he will not be able to be victorious over you. You're just too confident. You're too sure that God is on your side. Listen, lately I'm seeing some miracles in my life that blows my mind. You know, I believe that whatever you ask God for, he's going to give it to you. But before all of that begins to happen, he will allow the devil to flex his muscles first. Because if there's nothing else that I know, brothers and sisters, is that disturbance always follow intentions. Every time you have good intentions, disturbance will follow. Trouble will come after every good intention. If you think I'm lying, get up today and said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be greater. And you realize the amount of trouble that will come. But you need to understand what those troubles are for. They are for the fulfillment of your intention. Ask Joseph, he'll tell you. They thrown him in the pit and into prison. They thought, you would have think that this is some disturbance for his destruction. It was disturbance to bring him to his intention. And so you cannot allow the enemy to distort your mind concerning who you are and where you're going. Now, for you to be this way, you've got to have courage. I wish what I was saying was as easy as I'm saying it. But it's the only way for victory. I won't go through all these notes. Brothers and sisters, what does it mean to be courageous? This simply means confronting your fears. You've got to learn to confront your fear. What is it that would cause you to feel ashamed? Watch me. Confront it. There's a particular church, won't say which church, I just want to give an example. That the minister speaks, you know, at one point in time was speaking a lot of negative things about me. Fully aware of it, and two ministers will be having their discussion, and you know, I'm in the middle of it. And I was fully aware of all of that. Not by hearsay, but you know, by personal contact. And listen, I went to the church, and I was told by others that it would be shameful for you to go Don't go there. It will be a shame. You don't feel bad. You don't feel bad about what they're doing or what happened. No. And I went to that church. And while I sat in the front of the church, while the shame is right there, everything you can look, it's right there. And the Lord said, write a check of $1,000 and give it to this church. And I said, no problem, boss. $1,000, fold it up. I put it in their offering. My brothers and my sisters, if you're ever going to develop yourself in courage and strength, you've got to learn to face your fears. Listen to what I'm going to teach you this. The same people that are gossiping you are the same people that's talking about you. Discipline yourself to go in front of them and even bless them. Discipline yourself to go in that same environment and say, how y'all doing? Embrace them, hug them. If you ever respond to them the way how they treat you, you'll be defeated. The way for victory is not to do to others what they do to you. Now, what I'm saying to you takes what? Courage. But you got to be very courageous. You have to learn how to go in the environment that brings shame. When you could be laughed at by everybody. I told you that was going to happen to you. I told you. I don't know what he was doing. I know that he was. And that shame. I didn't say shame. I said shame. You walked into that shameful environment and you smile. And you greet everybody. And you love on them. Don't go in that environment. Yeah, I know everybody's seeing me. Everybody know what I went through. You know, everybody know that I just went through a tough time, you know. And have your head down low. Listen, in the face of your critics, smile. In the face of your haters, smile. In the face of those that talks about you saying they know that you're going to fall, smile. They know that this was going to happen to you, you smile. That's being courageous. You can only have victory being this way. You've got to learn how to face your fears. What can make you feel humiliated? Step into that environment and say, I dare you to be strong. How are you going to be strong if you've never gone into an environment to test your strength? You know, there are so many people that they fully understand physical work, what they do physically to gain strength, but when it comes down to spirit, they have no clue. But I want you to know the same application in building your muscles physically. It's the same application in building your spirit. Now in my life, where I'm at right now, my walk of faith, I don't know what can make me feel embarrassed. I don't know what can be done today that will make me feel ashamed. Why? Because I have been through the tests that train my courage. And right now as I'm speaking to you, I can publicly, boldly go anywhere and talk, laugh, smile, no shame in my life. Why? Because I'm in control of my soul. You know, when we were going through the pandemic, Gabby, I was saying, I'm going to stop. I have too much notes here. I was saying to the brethren that, brethren, if the police comes, if the authorities come, stand. We're going to dare everything. The work of God must continue. And boy, isn't it easy when you should talk about what you're going to do. But when it shows up, would you really do it? Or let me ask you, would you do it apprehensively? Would you do it in fear? Would you go forward and be like, Mr. Officer, please, 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 please. You know, the church people, I'm sorry that this is happening, but I'm so sorry. I apologize. Please, give us a chance. Oh. The 3 Hebrew boys said, Gabby, whether God deliver me or not, I'm not bowing. And I'm not going to try to beg you to pity me. Brothers and sisters, this is the type of courage. I wish I had time to go through all that I have here. But this is the type of courage I'm taking. You've got to learn to confront your fears. The same thing that you know can put you behind bar. If you're doing it for the name of the Lord, face it. So you go before the authorities and you speak as though you're the mouthpiece of God. You speak as though you do care for these people in this place. There's something about, I have the list here to give you, what you do to yourself to make sure that when the attacks come, you will not flinch. Because you can say anything now, but when it comes, you will respond differently. If certain realities are not in you, it's got to be in your soul. You know, it's like when the lion attacks the sheep that David was taking care of. David was not willing to go and, call his brothers to come shoot the lion. There's something that should happen to you naturally. There should be a natural response to everything that comes to destroy you. David did not ask for help. As a young man, he looks at that lion and goes straight to him, confronting your fears. The same thing or beast or situation that will cause everybody to run, or you're running from it. You've got to learn to look at it and say, that which drive fear in others will not drive fear in me. That will cause this one to lose faith will not cause me to lose faith. Watch me. As you are journeying with God, listen, ATI. You've got to learn to stand in Zion by yourself. You've got to learn to stand in the church, look at me, by yourself. Meaning, if the person that brought you to Christ turned from Christ, be courageous. I'm going to send you home, but I want to send you home with an attitude that will give you your altitude. You will not get up there being weak. You will not even fulfill God's plan for your life being a crybaby. If you feel like you want to cry, let me tell you, just let it out before God. Because tears to me is very therapeutic. But my friends, if when you are fighting you start crying before your enemies, that is not therapeutic. That is destruction. When you are by yourself, go ahead, cry. I'm not sure if any of you inside here cry more than I do. You just don't see it publicly. I would just sit on my step and just get broken. Why? What I want to gain accomplished, what I want to do for the Lord, what I want to execute. But when I come to do anything, it's not time to cry. It's time to get it done. My brothers and sisters, as you go through this life, I want you to empower yourself to confront challenges. If you weren't so quiet on me, I would have given you the 4 things you do to build your spirit. But because I sense leaving on your mind, I will not waste your time. But let me tell this, brothers and sisters, if you don't know how to pray in tongues, begin to practice. Listen, there are many people that goes to choir practice, music practice, but they don't do prayer practice. You think that is just a statement? Where there is no consistency of praying in your spirit, you will flunk in your attacks. There's something that prayer does to you, not for you. You didn't get what I said. I said there's something that prayer does to you, not for you. Prayer is more than you just obtaining blessing from God. Prayer will make you the blessing of God. Brothers and sisters, every day, every moment of the way, be praying in the Holy Ghost. Nobody needs to see. Nobody needs to hear. You're not here to prove power. You're not here to prove that you got the anointing of God, and somebody who says, "Whoa, I heard him speaking in tongues, man. He got the Holy Ghost." As I'm even talking to you right now, I'm praying in the Holy Ghost. My spirit, I have to keep it refreshed every day, Sister Wise. You keep it fresh every day. Because I'm telling you, there are days when you are cruising and out of nowhere, boom, you see a dot. Like, where is this coming from? If your spirit is not swift, if it is not agile, if it's not ready, that sword will kill you. I will not go any further, but the main one I want to give you: pray always. That is not a religion. There's no time to pray. You see, if God was confined to a building, then I would say you may not have time to pray, because you're going to need time to get to the building to talk to the God. But when you know that if you're walking to the supermarket, the Lord is with you. When you know that going to Home Depot, the Lord is with you. Why do you think Jesus Christ, you read your Bible, very few times you hear about Christ praying in the temple. He went out into the mountains to pray, and he's in the desert place to pray. Why? Because God is not confined to a geographical location. So when you're telling the Lord, I need time to pray, the devil is deceiving you. He's trying to let you think that God is far from you. When you know that God is with you, I'm telling you, you're walking, going out to the church parking lot. Before you get into your car, you walk and greet everybody, and you're in tongues. You are praying while you're, God bless you, God bless you. And as you leave that one, you're praying in the Holy Ghost. Your spirit is constantly flowing. Let me tell you, if you can't do this, the wind of life. Now, especially when you're a Christian. Because you know, as a child of God, you can't really fight battles like how they fight it in the world. While you are going through your tough time, you can't just drop your guard and become immoral. You have to win being morally sound. You have to have your integrity as you're fighting. So you can't be like sinners out there where they take up matters in their own hand and they just get it. You have to keep yourself in God. For you to be able to keep yourself in God and have victory, you need God to be at working in you. At working in you. So you keep on let God flow through you. So when you're addressing the situation, you're addressing it in a righteous way. You're dealing with this thing in a godly way. At the end of the day, you will watch yourself on top, untouched. Brothers and sisters, I want you to win your battles without bleeding. I want you to win your battles without bleeding. What am I saying? You can fight in this life and win without your life become chaotic. There are some people that they get through certain circumstances, but forever, oh Lord, you will be able to tell they went through a lot. Why? When they were fighting through the situation, the amount of problem they create while fighting, they leave a trail behind them as they're trying to survive. Don't fight blindfoldly. You'll be wounded. Fight with precision. And the way how to do this is by learning to meditate and let God speak to you as you're speaking to Him. You meditate daily, every day. Father, the wisdom is in me. I can maneuver this in a strategic way, let your wisdom come alive to my mind. And when everything is all said and done, you went through the worst fire you can think about. And when you come out, not even the smoke is on you. You know, there are people that I've seen go through problem. And without being prophetic, you can tell. They start losing weight. Their hair start falling out. Their eyes get heavy, get baggy. They look so stressed out. You can tell they're losing this battle. You should never let the devil feel like he's injuring you. After the blow, you should be as though he thumped a iron man. You know, I wish. He can't fall. He can't drop. You're not even acting weak because you don't feel weak. Listen, my son and I, we do arm wrestle. Yes. And when I said, Natty, all your strength, son. He's pushing. He's pushing. And I said, are you pushing? Dad, I'm dying. I'm dying. But are you sure you're pushing? He said, Dad. Then he grabbed my with two hands, pulling, and my hand don't move not even an inch. I'm saying this because I want you to understand. If the Bible said, greater is he that is in you than he that is in this world. When the enemy is punching, he should still see you relax. Brothers and sisters, you know, I wish I could find the words, Sister Casey, to really express what I'm talking about. Because I know what I go through. I know the track record of attacks. And I know what the Lord did to me. I know I respond. I can see it with my two eyes. Because these are practical principles you go through. And when your life goes through the worst hell that there is, tomorrow they see you excelling. It shouldn't be that the devil attack you and you have to go all the way down from the ground to come back up again. It should be that after that attack, the devil wonder if he did attack. Why? Because the grace of God grants you so much courage that you keep moving through. Let me tell you this. As I'm speaking to you right now, the enemy will even try right now as I'm speaking to you to go figure a way how to nullify what I'm saying. He will. And this is how he tries it at times. When I'm through preaching, empowering you, you'll find two persons in the church. Or you find someone out there decided to stir up something to see if it can get to you. And that person is under a demonic invasion and they're not aware. But that activity is to prove who you are again. Let me tell you, the more you prove to the devil that you're greater than him, is the more it will be proven to him that you're greater than him. Look at me, friends. Look at me. I'm not trying to emphasize you. You are greater than your problems. You are greater than your situations. You are greater than the combination of, it's not a preaching point. I'm telling you, greater is he that is in you. Don't be crying. Tell yourself, I am very courageous. The Lord said, be courageous. Be of good courage. Tell yourself, I don't fail. I don't. Listen, people must teach you how to fail, not how to win. Winning must be your nature. You know, I was going to preach on this subject that says the just man. The just man. And one of the things I realized about a just man, oh God, he will fall 7 times, but get up again. A just man, you can't kill him. No, you can't. If you're just, every time something happens, you learn from it. Every time you go down, you learn from it. And after a while, you can never be defeated because you have trained yourself over all these days when you fall. Sometimes you fall physically with your health. Sometimes you fall financially. Sometimes you fall, you name the different types of failures. But every one of them, you learn from them. By the time you get to my age, Let me say, and I'll conclude here and pray and send you home. Listen, I've received a lot of encouragement from people lately. I didn't know that I was loved by so many. I personally did not know that. So many people encourage me. People that have never called me, call me. Some sending texts, reaching out, praying for you, be strong, be encouraged. I've heard things with this, whatever it is. Let me share this with you. And my brothers and sisters, within all those encouragements, I begin to thank God for one other thing in my life. The presence of good people. If there's nothing else you don't have in your life, work on this one thing. Have people praying for you. If I should go down my list, one thing that helped me, and that is the hand of people that prays for me. I know what I'm telling you. Every time a call comes, I'm praying for you. A text comes, I'm praying for you. Or I'm in the church and people are praying for me. I'm so revitalized. I'm so re-energized that I feel like I can dare anything. So one of the mechanisms that we use for courage is to love people. Because a day is going to come when David will not be able to fight alone. Listen, you may attack the giant alone, but when the entire Philistines coming against you, you ain't going to be able to fight him alone. And this is something that the Lord has opened my eyes to. The care of people. This day, I feel very good in myself that I've invested in the lives of people. That I am so motivated to continue to teach, preach, heal, whatever I can do to help people, I will be doing it. Why? When I was going through the most difficult time in my life, people were there. You know, there are days when you said, nobody is there for me. Anybody have ever gotten there? Well, let me tell you this. The Bible said, you will have friends if you show yourself friendly. If you show love to others, they will show love to you. And I found out that this key will take you through any storm. Brothers and sisters, though there are days you have to fight alone, the reality is this: no man is an island, and no man stands alone. Everyone needs someone to pray for them. If there's nothing else I know I do for this church, is I weep for you. You may not understand. This morning I sat right in my garage crying for you, begging God to give me the grace, the courage, the strength that when I stand to speak, something happens to your inside. Because I know how I felt when people reach out to me, what happens to my inside? And I said, Lord, there's power in people. There's power in people. I used to pastor many years because of a command. I needed to do this for me, and I moved based on command. Now I am doing this based on love. Because I see how it works. I see how you can be delivered by the care of others. And you don't need money, because no one came to me. Well, no, let me not lie. One person gave me a check. But there are certain things that you go through that money can't help you. What you need is not money. What you need are good people. I know. Your money can't, listen, there's certain emotional pain you'll go through that you get $1 billion, it don't save you. And many of us, we anchor ourselves on just money, and that's the reason why we don't sacrifice ourselves even for others. But when that day comes when you're in some turmoil, if you don't have people to love you and to be there for you, you'll realize that all that money that you kill yourself for was a waste.